Yo, what is up, you guys? Today, we're gonna be doing episode 19 of What If the World Started Over in the Countries. So yes, I got a lot of explaining to do for part 18, which we basically kind of probably don't need to worry about for a little bit, but. Yeah, let's go ahead and start off the episode right now. So as we saw, we had the big German expansion in Europe, and they actually start to rule Europe. The French, which is all right here, except that area which broke away, and that area which broke away, and maybe Italy that's probably gonna break away, but all of France is worried. They're worried enough that they want to cross the border of Germany, cut off this big piece of land, make it become its own country, and then tell them to send notes to the Greeks to unite under one. And they're like saying, right now, please. So as they're saying, right now, please, they couldn't cross the border because that was Germans. German has their waters there, connecting up with the British. They think up there. They share these waters here with the Finnish, especially at the Gulf of Finland. The Finnish gets to claim all of these waters. And the waters up here, which they actually kind of claim to themselves. Episode 19 really isn't nothing, just talking. But I don't want to bore y'all, so I'm going to do something that's going on. So let's go ahead and go to our gallery. Our gallery. Then we're going to pull up the world map. We're gonna upgrade this map. We're gonna put it to was it 10? That's when I made it really high. No. Let's check the other 10. So the only reason I'm afraid with this image is just because, you see, it kind of doesn't color in. Oh, yes it does. It's on the wrong color. See, it lets the color get out and grow into other places. When I accidentally tap it too much and it gets rapidly wrong. So that's why I don't like these thin borders, because every time I tap it, it could go like that. I don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and do one that I know that might work out. Gotta find it though. Ooh, perfect. This is the most perfect border I could ever get. So this is the one we're going to save. Alright. So we're going to be starting off with the Japanese. They've been wanting to have an empire since the end of World War II. Relax, this is not real. This is just fantasy. So this is not actually what's going to happen in real life. So the Japanese declares war on North Korea, South Korea, and so they declare war on all their parts, which also includes some of China and all of French Indochina, Myanmar, So there's a lot of people going up against Japan. Some of these are allies. they used to be allies to Japan, but is now not. So this is like the whole Pacific, or the whole Gulf of China coast. And since that island's in there, Russia's most definitely going to be giving a lot of support. So this is a lot versus Japan. But let's say Japan's buffed, like he's super strong, and he can defeat up to this much countries. But he will have offense. So he takes out the easiest part, which is the Sakhalin Island from Russia, and then into South Korea. Chinese North Korean troops starts to move into just Japanese area. Japan makes a landing on Taiwan and starts taking over the whole island. China throws some troops over here and starts pushing back the Japanese. He pushed back the Japanese out of Taiwan, and then the Japanese decide to go after the Philippines. They take over the capital of the Philippines, which causes the Philippines to outbuild and fall to the Japanese. So now the Japanese has a clear little front, which expands here to the Philippines and all of its islands up to here. So this is the Japanese part that it has, that's like its protection zone. So, to the war, the Japanese starts landing on some Indonesian islands. They land on the biggest island. They land on the biggest island, which they totally face a lot of offense and a lot of non-troops coming. And then we have the Indonesians and the other army starting to push back, and they start to push back into the Philippines. Take over the capital of the Philippines, which causes their revoltation. Well, they still hold this little spot of South Korea. So they start moving more into South Korea, losing that little spot, and they capture Seoul and make pause at the border of North Korea as they make a small push into North Korea. Then they invade Taiwan again. This distracts China, which makes the Japanese land along the Chinese coast, taking over a good amount of cities and lands. But as they push them back, he pushes right back into the other cities, and finally starts moving down from the Japanese, pushing them back from Korea. The Japanese had to have another plan, and so they decided to go after the weakest island, Indonesia, and the weakest country here, which is Papua New Guinea and that island of Indonesia. See, he takes over the whole island, and he decides to move across other small islands, moving in from the east, taking over Timor-Leste, and starts pushing back into the old one he pushed in, which I failed. He started to push into the Philippines as well. Started crossing island to island, creating a big front, but he did not capture the capital. It was kind of a little offensive. So the Japanese starts making landings on the Chinese coast. Finally, they meet up with Indochina, which was very busy recruiting troops and making sure the Japanese don't land here, which was exactly what the Japanese did, and they outbuilt on it. Japanese troops started connecting up and moves across the Chinese coast. Well, that got China busy. North Korea was left by itself with Japan, and Japan started to push in to North Korea, taking over the capital and moving into Ontario. So they start moving into Ontario. They move into the southern part of Ontario, finally getting China backed off. So as the Chinese push this front back, they start to push back a little bit in Ontario, in Manchuria, which the Japanese take over the Manchuria capital, which causes them to revolt away. This is a huge loss from China, and as the Chinese is at war with one of its provinces, that's not good, as China has to, release it. See, if they declare themselves independence, alright, so they call themselves an independent nation. So now I fully have to remove Manchuria from the war. So Manchuria declared independence from China. They seek themselves to get away from China and use this to make sure the Chinese don't try to push back in. Since they declared themselves independent, now the Chinese is just facing another problem. From Manchuria, Russia, Mongolia, or even Japan might invade that region, and China has full hostility over it. The Japanese starts pushing back into China over its coast and making another landing over here on its coast. As it moves over more and more into China, it connects up with a lot of Chinese coast, which then brings India into the war on the Japanese side. So if India joined the war on the Japanese side, we already know Pakistan's going to join on the Chinese side. So the Indians start moving into the Pakistanis through this area. They take over Islamabad, and they start moving down here into Karachi, which they take over, which causes them to, get out. You know what I mean. So India, after taking over all of Pakistan, decides to use this as to push into China. Because why not? India wants to get rid of China. Why wouldn't they? So, of course, the Indians move into the rugged terrain of Tibet. My nose is funny. As they start moving along the coast, they start pushing into Myanmar. Myanmar was pretty easy to push in. Wait, hold up. I can just do this. Unlock this, go into eraser mode, erase India. Erase India and erase Japan. Now make another slide and then put the Japanese and the Indians. Japanese, and the Indians. So now we both have two people that can invade normally. Now back, as India invades all of Myanmar, they take over all of it, move into Laos. With the help of India, the Japanese finally captures Taiwan and makes a clear front. Then lands in French Indochina, and takes over the southern half while India starts taking over the north. They move in and they both take it over, moving their troops up north and starting to push in to the Chinese, as they were the main target of this section. We have a huge rebuild of Tibet, and in Xinjiang and Tibet rebels. Have the Japanese moving from here, and finally they collapse China. Which now let's see the peace treaty, seeing what the Indians and the Japanese get. Alright, so we're gonna move to a 1.6 scale. And here's what India wants. It wants all of Pakistan, some of the Chinese Tibet, a little bit more over here, some right here, connecting it up in its other parts, and it wants a good amount of Myanmar. It wants a little bit amount of Myanmar, a little bit of Indonesia. Well, Japan wants this from China, all of Korea, some more of the Chinese coast. They want all of the Philippines, all of that island, all of the Falkland Islands. They want the rest of French Indochina. They want the rest of basically everything. India got what it wanted. Now the Japanese gets what it wants, because it did the most and it had the most casualties in the war. So let's go ahead and erase these borders. And they're all Japanese, remember. If you guys can remember, thank you. Guys can't? No, I don't like you. I'm just kidding. I love all my people. If y'all love this channel, then I love y'all. I really thank y'all for actually watching this channel. I'm just one out of many. And Bhutan also unites with India, same as Nepal and Bangladesh. So now India forms this great big empire that it most definitely wants it for years. Now, I didn't finish yet. I didn't want to write all the borders because I didn't want to spoil the rest. So, now we have a big problem with China. China has gotten to the Civil War. It had lost Manchuria and Tibet, making it look like this. And then split up a little bit more. Well, no, it didn't split up. It split up between Communist China, which was the weaker one, and the regular China, which was the stronger one. The democratic China, which was the stronger one. So this was the Chinese. So now we have the Chinese Civil War. The Communist China is the one who created this war, so they instantly start the war. That's Japanese. Just forgot to color it in. So they start the war. And the regular old China wants to end the democratic China wants to end the war. So the communist China takes over this little piece of them and uses these little land masses to push in a little bit into the countryside, while in the huge China, we had the other China taking over the legitimate capital of this China, making this part surrender over, just the capital part, and then they gained back their land. Then they moved into the other part of the Chinese, knocking back the troops. As they knocked back these troops, they pushed in and captured all of the communist China, which now is finally the end of the war, and the peace deals is instantly. China has a new government, which is now a democratic government. And now the other China cannot revolt away, and that is said by the Union of People, UOP. So it's called the UOP, Union of People. They said that from the Chinese. They said the Union of People will say that China, the communist China, cannot rebel away forever. Then he said, end of talk. So he said, end of talk. The Chinese government became a republic or a democrat. Whatever y'all like the most. Republic, Democrats. Some videos I'll say Democrat China, some videos I'll say Republic China. If y'all don't know stuff like that, I'll post a video about me sharing what a Democrat and what a Republic is. If any of y'all got age of history, y'all need to listen. If y'all don't know what any of those are, I just gotta tell you, delete the game. The game literally tells what a Democrat government is and what a Republic government is. If y'all don't know, just watch my channel. Like, it's easy as that. Easy as wood. It's easy as cutting, as boiling spaghetti. Alright, we'll do another war in the next episode. So we're doing one war each day. Maybe I'll do 2 a day. But thank you guys for watching this video. This will be a series now on, and I will explain about the 19th episode, the next video I make. And yeah, that's probably coming out this week. Thank you guys for watching this video, and bye.